The article that I read was called Manifesto for a Queer South Politics, written by Pippa Holloway. Pippa Holloway begins the article talking about how the LGBTQ community has changed this past decade. And she mentions that gays who are discriminated are seen as innocent victims, while gunned down unarmed black men by the police are seen as thugs. Also, a third of young black men have been incarcerated. The United States Supreme Court has allowed marriage equality nationwide. However, no southern states have a law that protects gays or lesbians from employment discrimination, meaning there's no protection from being fired just because of your sexuality or your gender identity. I do find this worrisome because there should be a law to protect a person no matter their preference of sexuality or their gender identity. There have been changes in southern states over the years. For example, in Vico, Tennessee, there was an openly gay mayor. Also in Houston, Texas in 2013, they re-elected their openly lesbian mayor. Also, not to mention that in southern cities, they have the largest population for same-sex couples with children. This was the part of the article that excites me because it's good to know that there were positive changes in southern states regarding the LGBTQ community. However, there were a few setbacks before we could reach this point. For example, in 2004, Virginia passed a constitutional amendment preventing homosexual couples from entering private marriage contracts like wills or child custody or even joint bank accounts. There was only one other time in Virginia's history that prohibited adults from entering contracts. Then this was during slavery. Slaves were property of others, therefore they could not enter contracts. Thankfully, in 2014, there was a law that passed that struck this down. Pippa Holloway also mentions in a portion of her article, she talks about a Black Republican politician by the name of Arthur Teal. This part of the article is actually titled, Know That Silence Still Equals Death. This grabbed my attention because it made me realize that anyone could be part of the LGBTQ community, even Southerners, even Republicans, politicians, literally anybody. Teal was a Miami attorney and politician that purchased services from male prostitutes. One day, Arthur Teal, when he purchased a service from a male prostitute, the prostitute turned him in into the public, and there was an article that was published about him being gay. As soon as Teal saw this article, minutes later, he committed suicide. This was a very tragic event. There was another part of the article that Pippa Holloway titled, Recognize That Violence Against Queers Can Affect Anyone. And it talks about an event that occurred in Nashville, Tennessee in 2001, where two couples went out on a date together. While one of the girls used the restroom, her fiance held her purse, and he also helped his friend to the restroom because his friend was blind. So while he was helping his friend to the restroom while holding a purse on him, there was a young man in the restroom that assumed that he was gay and started harassing, insulting, and even cursing at him. However, it didn't just stop there. This man followed them to the parking lot and shot him. He actually shot a heterosexual man, a straight man, for assuming that he was gay. Of course, he spent life in prison, but unfortunately, this man died minutes later after being shot. It taught me a lot that I didn't already know. It taught me a lot about Southerners and the LGBT community and how they relate. It was very informational, and I feel much more educated on the topic now. Thank you for watching.